Alright everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Gungeon. First, I'd like to say thanks to everyone for subscribing, and commenting to the channel. If you can please continue to do that, that would be great, because I'm an old guy and talking into a camera is very, very, very hard. So if you can please do that, that would be great. Alrighty, thank you. Now, what we're going to talk about today is the Savage Stevens double barrel shotgun model 311A. Okay, I'm going to grab it now to show it to you. And here she is, everyone. If you can get a look at that, that would be great. See it? Alrighty, so a little story on how I got this gun. About a week to, I don't know, maybe a week and a half ago, I was taking my motorcycle to a motorcycle shop. And I had met this gentleman inside of the shop who was getting his motorcycle fixed. Well, we got to talking because he actually saw my shirt, and I have a shirt that says size matters. And what that is, it's a shirt that has a couple of ammunition calibers on the shirt, and across it says different calibers. So he had asked me, he goes, which one of those do you have? And I said, well, sir, I have all of them. And which one don't I have? So he started to laugh. Well, anyway, we got to talking for a few minutes, and you know, the conversation kept going on and on and on. Well, he had said he had a rifle that he had gotten from his father. Oh, probably about, I think he told me, maybe about 25 years ago or so. And he said his father bought the rifle from Sears and Roebuck. Boy, is that old. I remember that, and I'm old. But anyway, we kept talking and talking, and he said if I'd be interested in the firearm and purchasing it. And I said, well, sir, I said, don't you want to keep this due to the fact that your dad gave it to you? Because, you know, I have mine, which you previously saw in another episode that my father gave me. And he said, no, because he really didn't have anybody to give it to. He has no children. All of his friends have passed away, and nobody likes guns. Well, we kept talking and talking and talking, and I said, well, you know what? I'd be interested in coming to look at it. And he said, sure. So I ended up going last Saturday to his house and seeing this gun. So I took a good hard look at it, and you know, yes, it needs some cleaning, and it's got a little pitting on it. And actually, if you can see the color of the stock, it's not really supposed to be black. He had told me that his father had painted it black. It's actually supposed to be a wood grain finish on it. So I kept looking at it, and you know, talking to him and everything. And you know, I did a little research on the gun while I was there to find out, you know, exactly how old the actual rifle is. And he himself said that his dad bought it a long time ago, probably back in the early 60s, I think it was. I want to say 68, 69 is what he had told me. Well, come to find out, by doing a little research on this gun, on the bottom, which is going to be hard for everyone to see, there's a little circle before the double trigger here. And that little circle states a letter and a number. So when I looked it up online to actually see exactly what year this was actually produced, it was 1957. And it was number 27 produced. Anyway, at that point in time, when you were able to purchase this rifle, at a retail price was about $26 and some change it was, or something like that. Well, on a wholesale, if you were buying it from somebody, it was around little over $18 people were paying for it. So we started talking again some more, and I made him an offer, and I ended up buying the gun, not really because I planned to shoot the gun, but because of its age. I wanted a double barrel shotgun, and I just thought it was cool. So it's probably going to be a wall hanger, which, as you can see behind me, I have plenty of guns on walls and everywhere in the Gungeon here. But I really liked this gun. I'm going to take it and have it cleaned and you know, have some work done to it and try to, you know, make it a little bit more presentable. But it actually does work, as you can see. Both cylinders, both chambers. It's got a 28-inch barrel. Okay, it's also 2 and 3. It's chambered in 2 3/4. And I think it's made, let me put my glasses on here because I am kind of old, folks. But I think it's, yeah, it's true. It's made of forged steel, the barrel. Okay. It's got a couple of markings here. It was made in Jacoby Falls, Massachusetts. And like I said, it's the model 311A. A little history about Savage Arms, folks, is that it actually was started and founded by Arthur Savage in 1894. He actually started the Savage Arms Fire Company in Utica, New York. I kind of did a little bit more research on it and kept, doing more things about the gun because I really wanted to check, and it really caught my interest about this gun. And I've always wanted a double barrel for a very long time. And like I said, after talking to him and seeing how he got it inherited from his dad, and how it hasn't been fired in the last, he told me, God, since he was 18 years old. And this gentleman must have been about, I'd say, in his mid to late 60s, which is not old, but, to him, he said it was old. And he just said to me that since I was into firearms, that he really thought that I would enjoy having this piece, in which I do enjoy having it. Again, my wife, like you've heard in the past, she doesn't like that I keep buying these guns. But when I see a deal that I like, I will always try and buy it, because it goes into my personal collection. A little bit about the gun again is that, like I said, it's made of forged steel. It's a 28 inch barrel. It needs a little cleaning, and as you can see, it's got the double trigger, which you don't see in many shotguns today, and that's how it was made back in the day. The gun weighs about 7.5 to 8 pounds itself when you're holding it. Kind of heavy. It is a 16 gauge, and they made them in 12, 18, 16, and they made it, I think, in 410, if I can recall. So that's some of the research that I've actually done on the gun, and that I'm still learning more and more about this gun because it interests me so much. But like I'd said to you before, the reason I actually bought it was because of the age of the gun, the little bit of history that came behind the gun. It being from 1957, you don't find too many weapons, back from that long, that are actually at a reasonable price. Everything nowadays, even if you look on the military surplus line, or, you look at different places, they're always pretty high. You don't find them at a really decent price, and I don't want to say how much I really spent on the gun, because really that's nor here or there. It really doesn't matter. It's just that I took a big interest in it, and since I've always wanted one, and I've always thought about getting a double barrel, and never really just pressured into it until he said something about it, I kind of just went ahead and bought it. Well, while we were there, and then another little bit more about getting back to him, when we were there, we kind of talked about a little Derringer that he had too that I'm kind of interested in. And he made a comment to me that was actually kind of funny. He said, since I don't have anybody, or I don't have any family or anything, he goes, "Oh hell, son, I might even will off my Derringer to you." I thought that was kind of funny because, coming from somebody who you just met for, gosh, the first time ever, and, we were there for, God, at least an hour, I think it was, talking while our bikes were being worked on together. But, getting to that and just meeting somebody and he wants to will you off his gun, I think to me it's kind of funny, it's kind of really weird. Nobody really does that, but it goes to show you how people who own guns and gun enthusiasts, they really communicate with each other very well. We kind of all understand each other and understand, all about guns and all about safety of guns, and, all about the classics, the relics, the military guns, all the different calibers and chambers. And it's just like, once you get into a conversation with people about a firearm, this conversation for me and most people I've talked to can last for hours and hours and hours. So, the gun community is a great community. I do want to throw something in real quick though. I belong to the USCCA. Not that I'm promoting them or anything, but I think it's a really good insurance to have if you're a firearms owner, because it has a lot of protections and a lot of benefits that come with it. And I think that, it would help anybody in the long run, even now that they've taken away, here in the state of Florida at least, no more concealed carry do we need. But it's a good thing to have, I think, really, you know. But anyway, back to the gun again. It's not really pretty, as you can see. I'm going to have, like I said before, a little work done to it, kind of take some of this blacking off of it and everything, and try to get it back to the wood grain finish. I'm going to have it cleaned and gone through really, really well. There's a little bit of pitting on the barrel here that I see and that I've noticed, and I'm going to have that taken care of. And you know, I didn't see anything down the barrels. I was looking through it. It looked pretty clean. Maybe a little tiny wear inside of it that it just needs a really good cleaning. But other than that, the gun is in really, really good shape, and all the stampings and the markings are all on it. And I'm going to do, like I say, a lot more research on this gun. So maybe in further episodes, I will know more about the gun and, you know, about Mr. Savage and, you know, how the name came across. But what was kind of funny to me is that what this gentleman also told me is that his dad bought it, like I said, at Sears. When do I ever remember, and I'm an age right now, I'm not going to tell you because then I'd be telling my age, but I remember Sears. And I remember Sears selling rifles, but I never knew that this one would have came from there. But evidently this company, Savage, was, they made very good long guns. I think they made some 1911s. They made different shotguns, different calibers, different barrel lengths, and for a while there, they were known as one of the top-rated gun manufacturers around. I do know, if I'm not mistaken, that in they changed names, or they kept it up until 1989, and then it kind of switched over to Savage, and now Savage does not talk about this kind of gun anymore, or the older guns. They kind of steered away from talking about any kind of guns, or, you know, any kind of this make years that went back years ago. They're mostly talking about all the new stuff they have right now. And if you look up over here, I do have a Savage Arms tactical shotgun right there. So that's more along the lines of what they're talking about nowadays. Nothing that's this old, you know, and the oldness of it is this is the reason I bought it. You know, it's an oldie, but you know what? It was a goodie. It was reliable. It was used for hunting, and it came in, you know, so many different gauges, like I explained to you before. The gun is actually, it looks pretty good, and it's in good shape. You know, I'll put it up like this so you can see it and see how it looks, and, you know, different sides of it again, and letting you see it and see what it's all about. But for the most part, it was a great gun, and it was a great hunting gun. And it was a hunting gun that, of all ages, from what he told me, he shot it at the age of, you know, he was 16 and 17 years old shooting this. And who could shoot a double barrel at 15 and 16 years old? You think it would knock you back and knock you on the floor, but he said it was great and it shot great, and he went hunting with his dad multiple times with this shotgun. So, I mean, I think it's a great gun, and I think Savage Arms was one of the better ones around there, you know, a long time ago. So, you know, I can't say enough about it, and I guess that's all I'm going to say about it, because really the beauty's in itself. If you look at it and you see it, the beauty's in itself. It's a beautiful shotgun. Just needs a little cleaning and a little touching up, and then it goes back to being a wall hanger, kind of like everything else that you see inside of my room. They're wall hangers. Anyway, folks, I'd like to give a little shout out to A Guy's View, another channel that's on YouTube. They're two very compelling guys, very funny guys. Again, you know, like I said in my last episode, got to give them a shout out and check them out, and, you know, if you get a chance to, and enjoy. So if you can like and subscribe and comment if you want, and if you want anything specific that you want to see or hear me talk about, and, you know, I'll talk about really every firearm that I have inside of the room, and some knives we'll get into, and of course if I buy other ones, which is going to make my wife very angry, but 90 to 1 I will be buying more, because I constantly do. I'll even talk about that. And one of these days, you know what, folks, we might even have my wife on here so you can meet her. And then she'll actually sit and talk with you. But in a few weeks, I'm going to have a special guest on here. He's got a Mosin Nagant, and he's got a Mauser that we're going to talk about, and he's going to bring on, and we're both going to discuss it together, and kind of see what the the likes and dislikes of it that we do like, and when it was made, and a little specs on the gun and stuff like that. And I'm going to try, folks, this week to get to the 2023 Tampa Gun Show and do a live kind of podcast. It's not really going to be live. It'll be more like video, me videoing it, but then I'll show it to you when I'm done. I'm going to try to get there, so don't quote me on this. I'm going to try to get there. It just kind of depends on what family functions I've got to do. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Again, like, subscribe, and comment. And if there's any content you'd like to see, please feel free to put it on the comments below. Again, from the Gungeon, peace out.